On the Delatronics bench at the moment we have an Arcam Delta 70.2 CD player. These are really good CD players. I'll show you the inside of it. You have a CDM4 here, which is a pretty good CD mechanism. You can see it's got a rotary type arm here, rather than it being on a sled, so they're quite reliable, these, unlike the CDM2, which is a little bit unreliable, but CDM4 is pretty good. As you can see internally here, we have two transformers, one for the servo board and one for the audio board. They're two separate boards there, as you can see, joined with this connector here. Now, the interesting thing on this is, here is a digital filter, SAA 7220. These are quite noisy, and apparently they interfere with the DAC, and they introduce noise and jitter. But this is actually on the servo board, so, and it's got a separate supply from the audio board, so that's a really good thing. Here's the output side, which is pretty much discrete, and the output op amps there are NE 5534s, which are single op amps, and they're really good, so I don't know if I'll be able to improve on that. Here we are. This is the gold dust. This is a single crown TDA1541, and it's got full size capacitors mounted either side. This is really well implemented, and as you can see, decoupling uses tantalum capacitors there, and also look at that, the regulation is close to the chip. This is textbook stuff. This is very good, and it's likely to sound extremely good. Now, I bought this one and it had a few problems with it. The CD tray wouldn't open at all. I'll show you here, the powered on fine. This is a really good thing as well. You can turn the display off here to reduce any possible noise. Then you have it in that position, and this is a maximum brightness, which is really good, even in this bright office I've got here. It's all sort of quite basic setup here on the front. I quite like the setup here. When I got this in, it wouldn't open the door at all, and I noticed here that somebody jammed a screwdriver in here. I've got to touch that up now and try and repair that. Somebody had jammed a screwdriver in here to lever it open every time, which is not good. So here we have, it's working, totally working now. And what I did, you pull the tray out. When you lift this up, it will release the tray so you can pull it completely out. And then this here is a cap. You can pull that off, and then very carefully take this tooth belt off, and then you can replace this belt here. I'm going to be selling these on eBay, these belts, because I think they do go, and this was the problem with this drawer, certainly. So see, it's perfect now. So what I'll do is I'll put a CD in. This is when I recorded. I've got the original of this CD, but unfortunately it's a fake, so I'm going to send it back. I took a copy of it anyway. So there we are. I can't play any of this because too many of my videos have been copyrighted, flagged as copyrighted. I'm not monetizing on my channel whatsoever because of that, so it might be a year until I start monetizing for the first time, because I've never monetized on my channel, even though I've got a great amount of subscribers. So thank you very much if you're watching and you're a subscriber. It really does help, although at the moment I'm not monetizing. So if I press play, you can see that it plays there, and yeah, you can hear it just slightly in the back, but I'm not going to play any more than that. But yeah, it's working perfectly now. Obviously you need to set up, make sure the CDM4 is set up properly in here as well, and there's the service manual tells you how to do that. But I'm very impressed with this layout. I bought, or should I say I'm buying, 3 CD players with 1541s in there. I normally just do 1540s, but the 1541 is pretty good as well. When I had the micro seiki in with a 1541, I was quite impressed with the sound of that. And I think if properly implemented, 1541s can sound pretty good. I'm not sure about, I mean, obviously my 1540 with my my special modification that I make on them, I mean, the sound is just unbelievable, really good. And this doesn't actually quite come close to it, but it is very good even so. You know, there is, it depends how fussy you are and scrutinizing you are. This DAC is not as musical and organic sounding as a 1540, but it is still extremely good, and you get the bonus as well here that obviously these have digital outputs, so you can go to another DAC if you want to. But this is really well done. They couldn't have done a better job, Arcam, really. I'm very impressed. And I'm going to be having an Arcam Alpha hopefully coming today, so I'll open that up and show that to you as well. Hopefully it'll be working okay. Also, I've got a Micromega Optic BS coming, which is another 1541 DAC. That's another twin transformer actually. You've got one transformer in the main and then a toroidal transformer lying on the side there, as far as I've seen in the internal pictures. There's separate boards as well, so this is what I'm going for, you know, separate servo and encoder board. But unlike the CD104 that I do so much of, you have 2 separate power supplies, one for the noisy section, this data section, which is be quite noisy, and one for the clean audio section here. So the idea of buying these was I was going to modify them, maybe NOS them. I used to do a lot of Rotel RCD855s, NOSing them and other units like that as well. And it made a lot of difference, and it's very, very good. But the difference on this, the main thing that NOS does is it takes the noisy element out of the system by bypassing the filter chip. The thing is, you don't need to bypass the filter chip here because it's on a different board with a different supply. So I'm not sure what NOSing would do to this, probably not a lot. So I'm going to look up online in the forums and things like that and see how I can actually best upgrade this. I'm not sure what these capacitors are on the DAC, these decoupling capacitors here. They're obviously very good. They're 220 nanofarads, which is good value. They're not surface mount, which some players have, so they're pretty good. But looking at the make of the other capacitors here, they're Rubicon, so it's not rubbish. When these CD players came out, they were extremely expensive. They were double the price of normal players. This is a high-end CD player from Arcam. These, when they were released, were £500, which is a big deal if you're looking back in the late 80s when these came out. So this is good. This is high-end stuff, and it's built in a high-end way with great components. Arcam should be very proud of themselves for producing something like this. And unfortunately, if I could play the sound and you could distinguish it over my speakers, you would say, yeah, that is fantastic sound. And it is really good. Not quite as good as a CD104 with NOS on it, or a DAD 7000 with my NOS mod on it, but not far off. So, and this would be possibly slightly cheaper to buy. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing the Arcam Alpha, because that should be really good, hopefully, as well. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.